Ackerman with Energy Awareness Training, coming to you on a beautiful Sunday morning. Just picked up the roses. Thought I'd show them to you first off. Beautiful colors. I don't even know what were they. Orange, golden, yellow, red. Anyway, welcome to today's class. We are broadcasting from the jungles of West Hollywood. Nice body. Good. Anyway, welcome. Today we're going to be talking about love. Isn't that everybody's favorite subject? We just, it's Valentine's Day weekend coming off, started Friday, and people usually spread it out over the weekend. So I thought we'd talk a little bit about that today because it's everybody's favorite subject. And our class today is on why love, attraction, and romance fade. Why does love, attraction, and romance fade? Welcome everybody who's coming on. So we noticed that, and it's probably happened to you. It's happened to me. It's happened to us all, where you have a good thing going, and maybe you fall in love, or you start dating someone, and it starts to work. You start to be happy, and you're getting to know each other, and everything's going great for a while, and then something happens. Maybe they change their mind. Maybe they're dating other people. Maybe something just goes haywire and you wonder, hey, what happened? Or maybe it's you. Maybe you date someone and it's great for a while and you're happy. And then one day you wake up and you go, you know what? I don't know if I'm into this anymore. I want to move. So maybe I want to start dating other people, etc. It's a quandary. And, it's interesting here in Los Angeles, in the newspaper, the Los Angeles Times, they have this love and dating section. It's very interesting to read about dating and romance adventures in the big city. And it never fails that there's always someone who talks about they meet somebody, usually online, get together. And the story usually goes like this. I'm out of a marriage or out of a long-term relationship, or want to meet someone, and then so I start looking, and everybody recommends online dating, and they all say, I don't want online dating, but they give it a try. They go out with a lot of people they're not attracted to, and then they meet someone that they're interested in, and it starts the ball rolling, and here comes the adventure of, I don't want to seem too interested, but I don't want them to go away. And it's the cat and mouse game of love. Don't show them too much. Play this, play it right. Hope that they're attracted to you, etc. And it's interesting because most of the time, actually, it's 50-50. At least the way they print it in the newspaper, the 50-50 is. We got together and against insurmountable odds, we got married, and we've been together 20 years and we're happily ever after. That's 50% of the articles. The other 50% is when you started dating, we thought everything was going great. And then you put in your favorite phrase. And then they ghosted me. That's a new word, huh? Ghosted means they disappeared on me. They wouldn't return calls and don't understand what happened and left me hanging, etc. Or they said, I'm still, after 3 to 6 months of dating, they say, I'm still in love with my ex. So I think that's not fair to you. So I think we should break up. And that's a good excuse, right? I've used that one actually. Back a long time ago. Or maybe it was true though. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not true, who knows? So you see this, you observe this, in your own life, and you observe the dating or the sex lives of your friends, and you get to see, wow, man, it's like a jungle out there. Literally, it's like a jungle out there. And would there be some kind of guideline to help you or to help you navigate or protect yourself? Because in some of the personal development work that I've done, they really encourage the development of long-term relationships and to put off casual affairs. And they say that, that's what they taught me, because they said short-term relationships are blood sport. I thought, blood sport, what does that mean? I said, well, you get involved, in a hot and heavy too quickly, and you have fun in the beginning, and it's going great. And you have this tumultuous, passionate, thing like you see in the movies. One I recall called 9.5 Weeks came out some years ago, but it was really popular about this tempestuous relationship between Mickey Rourke and Kim Basinger, and that's how long it lasted. 9.5 weeks. They had 9.5 weeks of intrigue and excitement and passion and sex and all this stuff. And then at the end, it ended unpleasantly. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Why? Why does so many of these relationships end unpleasantly? And why do people who are in relationships for so long suddenly pull the plug on them? And it's something that you never, a lot of times you see it coming. A lot of times you don't see it coming. So this is what we're going to be talking about today, especially the energetic aspects of this, because, without the energetic perspective, I think people just lost, because you get involved in things you don't know what's happening to. And that's why I developed energy awareness training, which is, for those of you who are new to my work, which is an understanding about how to see life through the energetic implications. And that means everything, because, Albert Einstein said, everything is energy. And then Nikola Tesla said, if you really want to understand what's going on in this life, you really want to understand how it works, then you'll start to look at things in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. So that was a clue that opened up this work for me to be able to go, because I always knew there was more going on than we see. Did you ever have that feeling? I remember even in high school, I'd look around and go, man, there's got to be more to this equation, this thing we call life, than our five senses, because it seems like such a mismatch. So much of it doesn't make any sense, and so much of it seems like a crapshoot of how things work. And it's through what Tesla said that I was able to develop a working model to be able to explain the unexplainable, to be able to explain how the non-linear part of life works. See, we have the linear and we have the non-linear. It's kind of like an energetic law I teach called a world of duality. And in this world, in this third dimensional world that we live in, we're all constantly dealing with opposites. We're dealing with weather. It's sunny one day, then it rains the next. We're dealing with day, and then it's night. We're dealing with things going up, then we're dealing with things going down. We're dealing with having tons of energy, and then we're talking about getting tired. The tide comes in, the tide goes out, up, down, right, wrong, good, bad, male, female, etc. So we're always dealing with dualities in this world. And that's an important thing to recognize, especially when you're trying to have some kind of bearing on what's going on in life, because so much of it, especially in romance, I remember, in my romantic career, having moments of happiness, surrounded by, hours of pain, trying to get back to the happiness. And I go, well, how does this thing work? And you hear it on the songs about love. Love is everything. Love is a many splendored thing. And when I'm with you, I'm so alive. And that's the good part, right? Remember Law of Duality, Polarity? That's the good part. Then you hear the other songs that say, love did me wrong, love left me, I'm crying in my tears, I'm nothing without you, how could you do this to me, etc., etc. Right? So you got this two things, and it's very important when we're talking about the energies of love and attraction and romance, because you got to know about the world of duality. You have, and that's an energetic law that I teach. You have to know that you're dealing with two polar opposites of something. And basically everything in life, in this third dimensional world, the world that we live in, the physical world that I talk about, has these components of duality. So when we're talking about love today, we're talking about energies. We're mainly attracting off the Valentine's Day weekend. And it's interesting, as people are coming on, I want to welcome everybody coming on here. Whoever's on, appreciate you being on. We're talking about love today. Love and attraction, and why it fades, and what are the energetic implications about what this is about. Hey, Linda, glad you're here. If everybody would just give me a shout out on the chat, just say hi, appreciate it. It helps me with the broadcast. And any questions you have about this as we continue, because this is an interactive broadcast. Love to hear your points of view. Love to hear what's happening with you. I'm just giving you the energy awareness take on our favorite subject. So I have a friend of mine that I know here in town, and he's got a great relationship. At least I thought so. And dating for a while, and seemed to be very lovey-dovey, and really enjoy going to see them. And the other day, he confides in me, and he said, actually, this is last year. He said, he says, I think I'm going to break up with her after soon. I went, what? Yeah. I said, well, I'm hanging around you guys. You're so happy. She seems to be madly in love with you. You seem madly in love with her. What's the deal? I don't know. It's just kind of, it's hard to put it in words, but there's so much activity out there. The guy's in entertainment where he meets a lot of people. He goes, I'm dating this one gal, and she's a great gal, and I really like her, but boy, I'm meeting a lot of really attractive. There's a lot of really attractive women around, and I think I'm selling myself short being with this one gal. And I said, really? I said, she seems to be really devoted to you. And he goes, she's a great gal. I mean, it's great. It's it's wonderful, and I met her family, and it's going great. But I don't know. So he tells me this, like, what was it, October, November of last year. So last time I looked, talked to him last week, they're still together. I see pictures, they had Valentine's Day. Everybody puts their Valentine online, and they have Valentine's Day, and they're like, happy couple. And I'm thinking to myself, So he kind of told me what's going on in his head. And I'm thinking, well, how does this relate energetically to energy awareness training? And because obviously, since they're still together, there's a part of him that wants to be with her, and there's a part of him that doesn't want to be with him. And that's what I'm talking about, the law of polarity, or the law of duality. You've got these two forces inside that are constantly pulling each other to one side or the other. And basically, as long as you're in that energetic frame, you're really not going to be happy. Your happiness is temporary. So what takes place? Well, let's talk about attraction from an energetics point of view. And it's going to shock you, because no one ever told us this. I wish someone had told me this 20 years ago about how this stuff works, but no one did. And as a result, what you don't know can and will make you suffer, especially when it comes to love and relationships. I know everybody's probably, let me see a show on the chat here. How many of you guys have been in relationships and can relate to the yo-yo effect, or can relate to the grass is greener? Or, you might be in a relationship now and you're thinking, can I do any better than this? Or, are they going to stay? Are they going to leave me? And so much going on. Give me some feedback here on the chat here. Let me know what's happening with you guys on this. So let's back up and just do some basics. If you're familiar with my work, you can see how this slides perfectly together. But if you're new to energy awareness training, or you're going, well, what is energy awareness training? It's the ability to recognize the energetic components of everything that we do, of our behaviors, of our motivations, of our thoughts, of our emotions, and our feelings. And to be able to know what the safe zones are and what the unsafe zones are. Because as I open the broadcast with the law of duality, there's parts of us that lead us one way, and there's parts of us that lead us the other way. Like my friend here, half of them wants to be in a relationship with this great gal, but there's the other half of them that doesn't, or that thinks you can get a better deal elsewhere, whatever it is. And these are the components that cause anxiety. They cause stress internally because we're not in alignment. We're not at peace. There's a restlessness, and that's inbred in all of us. I'm going to explain how that works here. Got a lot more people coming on. Hey, you guys, how you doing? Give me a shout out on the chat here. Any where you're from, or any comments, or any experience you want to relay to me or talk about here, energetic wise. Talking about energy awareness training today. Talking about the energy of attraction, love, romance, and why it fades for our Valentine's Day weekend. All right. So who we are walking around here is we're a combination of we're energetic beings. All of us we're all energy. You, me, everyone else we're energy. And I'm not talking about something airy fairy. I'm not talking about solar panels or gas or oil. And I'm not talking about, fairies flying through the air, blowing harps. I'm talking about real world energy. What is our real world energy? Your energy is a combination of your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, your beliefs, your personal history, and how that all computes as your behavior. That's what I'm talking about, your energy. And all energy has a power, a purpose, a frequency. It gives you direction, and it gives off information. And this is where things get very interesting, because all the songs say love is the great mystery. Love is the elusive butterfly of love. Have you ever heard that one? It's an old one. Love, the elusive butterfly of love, means it comes, it goes. There's no rhyme. There's no reason. Well, there is. And I'm going to explain it to you today if you guys want to know. Anybody want to know how the elusive butterfly of love works? Well, here we go. We're energetic beings. We're constantly projecting energy, which is the combinations of our thoughts, feelings, beliefs, emotions. We're projecting that out as an energy field, as a frequency, as an aura, as a vibration. And we are receiving other people's, other places, other things of their vibrations also. So we're acting in one big energetic soup. So, when you meet somebody, for the first time and you shake hands, you talk to them for a minute, you're getting a vibe. You're getting a frequency, you're getting a vibe. And it's the combination of all of these things. There's not one thing you're going to notice. It's just a combination of an energy. You either like it or you don't. You either are attracted to the energy, you want more of it, or you want to be away from it. People have energy, places have energies, activities have activities. It's all one big energetic vibration. Now, when we're attracted to someone, we think, well, let's back up a little bit. So energetically, we have what we're aware of, which is our 10%, and we have what we're unaware of, or what we're unconscious about, which is our 90%. Kind of like the iceberg. You've heard me say that 10% above the water you can see, 90% below the water you can't see. And the Titanic wasn't sunk by the 10% it could see. It was sunk by the 90% it couldn't see. So I was saying this is that which we can see, we can control. That which we can't see controls us. And this is where it gets fascinating. So we go around and we think we're attraction. And, for speaking as a guy, you think, well, I'm attracted to women. So what do I like? Well, I like blonde or brunette, or I like tall or thin, or I like curvy or non-curvy, or, whatever your particular 10% is, which is the physicality. What really draws us to people is the 90%, is the energy of someone. And by and large, when we're attracted to someone, and this is the mystery of it all, we're attracted to someone that somehow unconsciously we recognize them to be a recreation of something that we knew before. Most likely a parent, most likely your mother or your father. Not always, but a large amount of the time. So in other words, we have a program, we have like a software disk inside us based upon your experiences, based upon your history, based upon what you've experienced, based upon the good things and the bad things that have happened to you, that have a software program that says, I like this type of person. And 10% of it you're aware of, which is, their physical characteristics. It's the 90% that you're unaware of, which are the unconscious characteristics. And as a child, the adults in our life are our role models for what men and women are. So as we grow, especially for guys, what do we know about women? Only what we learn from our mothers, or if we had sisters, from our sisters. And we recognize the good things, the good things that work. We absorb that. We observe it. Especially when you're a kid, you absorb everything. When you're a child, your absorption rate is just huge. But you also absorb the stuff that's not good, that's not so pleasant. Whatever it is, good, bad, or ugly, we absorb it. And we have a tendency to recreate that in the unconscious level. Same thing with women. Their dad or their brothers, etc., used to be opposite sex figures. So as we grow up and we get attracted to people, if you've ever noticed, when the relationship is great, which is usually at the beginning, there's a reason why that takes place. But when it starts to go south, when there starts to become problems, you notice character traits or behaviors or situations that are familiar. If you were put down as a kid, you have a tendency to create that later on in life. If you have someone who is shouted all the time, that's familiar. So, or somebody who was anger and silent, give you the silent treatment. All of these things that happen to us are programmed or put into our unconscious as this is what women do, this is what men do, etc. So growing up, all of us get wounded as kids and get as teenagers. And when these wounds take place, some of them are wounds, some of them are intense emotional upsets, some of them are called traumas. Stuff that happens to us that we're overwhelmed. That's an energy that, according to the latest research in energetic medicine, says that that's an energy that attaches itself to your energy body, or to people go, what's energy body? Okay, it attaches itself to you. You could say psychologically, or you could say it physically, whatever, but it's an energy that gets deposited in that software program that we were talking about. And that deposit at some point will surface to recreate itself in someone else. So, a lot of the times when people want to study with me, study energy awareness training. Well, why do people want to study energy awareness training? Well, first off, when you learn how the energies work, you can use them to heal yourself, recover, understand the patterns that you've been in, and most importantly, to change your life. You can use the not just the knowledge, but the energetic tools that I teach on how to change your life from where you are to where you want to be. And that's the most important thing that happened with me. And this is why I teach this now, because I was at a place where everything I'm describing happened to me. Growing up as a kid, loving, I came from a loving household in the beginning. My female role model was a loving mother who was very kind, was my best friend. I had a sister who was a great gal. And then there was a shift came when my mom went through the change and she became a different person. And then all that love turned into meanness and turned into anger and turned into rage. And, and it's like, whoa, I didn't know how to handle that. How do you deal with someone that was so loving and kind one minute and they become the exact opposite? So that was an overwhelming, upsetting emotion, trauma, if you would, that I didn't know how to handle it. So I figured, well, I just go live my life and lead house and everything will be fine. But as I mentioned to you before, the latest research, and if you want to know what I'm talking about, it's not only my work, but it's work of a Dutch doctor called Dr. Van de Klook, wrote a book. I think it's still on the bestseller list on the New York Times, called The Body Keeps Score. The body keeps score. What does that mean? It means the body, that's those things that happen to you, they stay with you. And they influence your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs, your behaviors, and ultimately your life. So when we're talking about attraction, we get attracted for people for a lot of different reasons. And this is one of the reasons. So one of the most common problems I deal with when people come to me and they say, hey, Glenn, I want to change my life. Can you help me? Can you teach me energetically what do I need to do to change my life and change these patterns? I say, yeah, I sure can. The first thing is to recognize what's happening to you. So, when we're growing up, we hear the phrase, the bad boy. You girls know that they're attracted to the bad boy. Bad boy. Well, aren't we brought up to want to be around good and stay away from bad? Yeah, but there's a part of us that's attracted to the darkness. There's a part of us that likes, that wants to flirt with badness, and and many of you gals on the line can give me a shout out on the chat if you know what I'm talking about. When you're younger, the bad boy who's driving a motorcycle, he's a renegade, he's breaking all the rules, and super sexy. There's something women find that the renegade, the bad boy, super sexy. So they start hanging out with him until the bad boy behavior starts to affect them, until they start getting treated bad. And then that relationship turns ugly or turns dark. Now, if you grew up in a household or had your opposite sex parent or figure treat you that way, treat you bad, or ignore you, or do all the things that quote bad boys do, that's going to feel normal to you. That's going to feel like home. It's like, hey, that's the way it was when I was a kid, right? And you think that you deserve that kind of treatment. That's why it's so prevalent that women are in abusive relationships. Why? Because a part of them, it feels like home. A part of them it grew up with that kind of treatment, and that energy is still inside you. And in my work, I take the energy out. That's one of the most powerful things of energy awareness training is you can take that program, you can take that software program out. But if you don't know what's in there, or you don't take it out, you try to positive think it away, or hope for the best, it's going to stay in there. And that's why, I have students who come to me and one of their big issues are, I continue to attract guys that are not good for me. I continue to be in these relationships that are unfulfilling, and I never get the love I want. And when I trace it, start asking them questions and start to trace this, it's usually can trace it back to, a parent or maybe a first boyfriend or something that an experience that they had that caused them great distress and disappointment. And that was the first deposit. That was the first software program that came into them, and that started being recreated over and over and over again. And how do you deal with it? Same thing happened to me. You know, I in my early relationship career, and it is a career, by the way. You know, when we have a relationship histories, you start to go, why is this always working this way? It goes this way, and then it happens this way, and wow, the disappointment comes. Why is that? Man, well, I asked that question because I wanted to find the answers, because I got, you know, we were brought up to think that relationships are supposed to be, you meet someone, you know, you look in their eyes and it's magic. And, you know, they're the one for the rest of your life. And you go riding off into the sunset, you know, on the white horse together. I go, what planet does that happen at? Because I don't see it happening in this planet, right, except in the movies. No, what normally happens is it starts great, and they look in each other's eyes, you know, in the beginning, and then they get into a relationship for a year or two, or 10 or 5 or 20 or whatever. And at the end, you know, they want to kill each other. They can't stand each other. They become bitter enemies. I never understood that either. How can you share beautiful, tender, intimate moments with someone, and then a year, 5 years, 10 years down the road, hate them and want to destroy them? And you know, you see these divorce battles. I mean, it's like World War III. How can someone go from such an intimate, loving place to such a warful, what's the word for it? Catastrophe, unsafe, warlike nature? Well, if you understand energy and the energetic patterns in human being, it's not a big stretch. So let's go into this. You guys find this fascinating? If you do, let me know on the chat that you want me to continue revealing these big secrets that you can't get anywhere else, that no one else teaches, I'm aware of, anywhere in the world here, that you're getting absolutely free on me. So if this is of interest, let me know on the chat so I can continue as I take my first water break of the day. See how there's some new people coming on? We got here Mai, Mundo, Rohan, great. Sean, hey, glad to have you guys. Pierre, great. Victor, all you guys. All right, you ready for more revelations? So here we are. We go out into this world with our unique computer program, and no one tells us we got this program. We just go out there as little babes out in the woods to try to have a happy life. And what happens to us? Usually, at some point, disaster involves. You know, I'll just talk about me. Talk about me, talk about you. What's the difference? You meet someone, you have a crush on them, you like them, you think they like you, you're getting ready for happily ever after, and then boom, the thing turns left, the thing turns south. And you're like, what? What happened? And you look and you go, did I do anything? What did I do about this? And then you try again. And you recognize you're dealing with, there's a lot of mysterious components here that are going on that you're not aware of. And why do they, and then it's so easy to blame them. Oh, they're messed up. Oh, they can't handle love, or they're not ready for a relationship. You know, you're pointing one finger at them and I'm pointing 4 fingers back at me. Well, if you understand how the energies work, get ready for this one. You guys sitting down on this one? We go looking for what that 90% programming inside us is. We go looking for that. So, you know, if you've had great opposite sex times, very few people that I know do, but if you had great, you're probably going to find a nice gal. But, you know, if you've had opposite set issues, you know, and you've had to deal with stress, anxiety, You've had to deal with people who were wigging out, people who had, addiction problems, or people who were stressed out to the max and who maybe yelled at you or abused you or doing something. That's in there. That's part of the program that you're looking for out there. And so much of the time is what we're attracted to, it's the lure. The 10% is the lure. Oh, they're hot. Oh, they're your physicality is attracted to that. But guys, girls, especially guys, like, oh, she's my type. She's my type. Well, how many times has that happened to you where someone's your type physically, but as you got to know them and got in a relationship with them, everything that you got into the relationship for faded away, flew, and everything that you didn't get into the relationship for suddenly emerged. Like, a lot of times you're like, who is this person? 3 months down the line. Now people say, well, why does that happen? Why does that happen? Well, that's a good question. Why does it happen? So let me tell you why it happens. Energetically. All talking energetically, not talking beliefs, not talking philosophy, not talking about point of view. This is how the energies work in your body. So take this and apply it to you. All of us are energetic beings. Remember I talked to you, those of you who knew, we started the broadcast with the law of duality, the law of polarity. If we've got one thing, we got to deal with the opposite. Okay? We're always dealing with two factors in this physical world. So here we are energetic beings. And what's the nature of energy? It's unlimited. It always was, it always will be. It's everywhere present. It's always expanding. Energy. And that energy, we are energetic beings, is housed and encased in a physical body. This is the container. Your body is the container of your energy. Just like this bottle is the container for water, right? You got the water, but if you're going to have the water in one place, you got to have a container. So our bodies are the container for our energy. Now, energy, as I mentioned before, which is my work, says that all energy is a power, a purpose, a frequency, a direction, and it gives off information. So we have the nature of energy, the unlimited energy, what I call the high vibrational energy, housed in a physical body. And the physical body is limited to the nature of the third dimension, to physicality. And the nature of all physicality is there's a beginning, there's a middle, and there's an ending. That's the nature of anything physical. Something was created, something that's used goes through it, and then it's gone. Isn't that the nature of kind of relationships too, for most part? Not all. I know a couple of people, I have a handful of people I know who are happily married, and that's great. I'm talking about the rest of us, talking about the other 90%, okay, that are dealing with the relationship challenges. So speaking as a guy, we got our physical body. Now, the physical body is limited to physicality. So it has a power, a purpose, a frequency, a direction, and gives off information. And the purpose of our physical bodies as human beings is to fight, flight, eat, sleep, and procreate. I won't use that F word, but you guys know what I'm talking about. That's what we do. So the body wants, and it wants what it wants when it wants it. It doesn't have a consciousness. It doesn't evaluate right or wrong, good or bad. That's our higher energy. That's the energy, the higher energies, to lower the animal nature, just like animals. Animals do what they do because of instinct in nature. My my little dog, who's taken the day off, by the way, of being on camera. Most of the time, I have a litter box for her, but sometimes she just has to go wherever she is. Just lets her rip wherever she is. Doesn't think about, this is going to stain the floor. Oh, this is going to create an unpleasantness for the next person who finds this. No, she doesn't think that way. Why? Because she's an animal. And it's the same thing with our animal nature. And our animal nature leads us to attraction. So when we're going, you see that person, like, oh, she's hot, or oh, he's hot, or oh, they get me going. If you're like this, your body's having a physical reaction because the nature of the body is to procreate, is to have sex, and to peel off as many new human beings as possible. Now, isn't it funny? the idea of and the energy of sex is so different than the energies of what it creates. You know, you have people have the babies, you got the babies and you're feeding it, and it's, it's burping and it's farting, you got to clean the diapers, and you got this, like, yeah, that's the result of you having sex. Now, you weren't thinking about diapers, right? You weren't thinking about the diapers and kids and burping and babies and stuff, right? When you're having sex, right? You're thinking about desire, you're thinking about passion, you're thinking about, man, it's hot, like that, right? And that's the deception of how the energies work. It wants to, the body's energy wants to express itself, and it wants to get off, man. It wants to have that orgasm. It's like this. But the purpose, and remember, energy is power, purpose, frequency. All of that stuff comes up for the purpose of, ultimately, at least from the body's standpoint, to procreate. So it's our higher nature, it's our higher energies that say, no, that's not correct. You can't do that with anybody at any time and anywhere, right? You can't. And if you do, you get permanent resident housing in a place called prison. So these are the influences that we have. Now, how many of us have have let our bodies run the show in attraction and do hookups or get involved with somebody really quick, and you have a lot of pleasure up front. And then it turns into that ounce of pleasure you got turns into a pound of pain or a pound of regret. And it's happened to me, it's happened to you, and you think, oh, why did I do that? What's going on? It happened because you weren't energetically aware it was taking place. And as you look back, for many of us that it happened with, so much of the time we regretted it. And we say, if only I had known then what I know now, I never would have done that. You remember the feeling of if you're with somebody with a one-night stand or somebody that you have a hookup with, and you wake up the next day and you're like, what did I do? The energy is sure different, the day after than it was the night before, isn't it? Energies are different. It was hot last night. This morning, man, I want to get out of here. I don't want anybody to know. What is it? It's energy. It's conscious energy. So you have to understand that there's a process taking place when attraction comes, that most of it's unconscious. The 10% of it is conscious, but the 90% of it is unconscious. And what it does is, in relationship, not talking about just hookups, but somebody we get involved in, the big question is, why does it change? We're having a great time. I had a friend of mine who met a girl in Mexico at Club Med once, and they had a fabulous week together, man. Together every night, the sunsets, walking on the beach hand in hand, beautiful, holding each other in the tropical breeze. It was great. So he said, wow, this woman's amazing. And they happen to live in the San Francisco Bay Area where I'm from. So they said, well, hey, let's hook up. Let's keep this going. I'll never forget his guy's name is Ron. And he said, Glenn, I met this girl in Mexico on vacation. She's my dream girl. She's everything I've ever wanted. Not like my ex-wife who busted my balls. No, this girl is one. And I said, well, great. I said, well, so what's the problem? And he says, well, she doesn't want to date me. She says, let's keep our romance in Mexico. Let's keep the memory of what we had and let it go at that. Because she says it can only go down and mess up from there. And he said, I don't want to believe that. I want to believe that if I can be happy there, I can be happy in real life. I said, good luck, Ron. Make it happen. So he tries to date her for about 6 months. And then I see him. He comes over and I said, so Ron, how's it going with your gal? And he goes, man, I've tried everything to keep this together. This gal is nuts. I try to be a great guy. I try to, be there for her, and she's all over the place, and she wants to go back to her ex, and she doesn't know what she wants, and she loves me, and then she breaks up with me. And I said, so you had a week of pleasure, and now you've had 6 months of pain. He goes, that's pretty much it. And I said, does she remind you of anybody you know? She goes, no. Well, I kind of had this kind of craziness growing up, but I thought that was all behind me now. I said, no, it's not behind you. It's inside you. Why do you think you were attracted to her in the first place? I said, well, because she was hot, man, and she was my dream girl. And I said, yeah, that's your 10%. The 90% said, oh, the 90% knew it. It's uncanny how this happens, because somehow it knows that this person is the same energy. It's a familiar energy. Out of all the millions of women that you're attracted to, why this one? Why this one except the other one? Because it brought you back to a place of familiarity. Somehow, on some level, coming back to energy awareness training, energy is a power, a purpose, a frequency, a direction, and it gives off information. So somehow her energy, remember I said we are energy sending and receiving vehicles? Her energy, aside from being attractive, hit your energy, and on some level it said familiar, recognizable, what I know, part of my program, let's go for it. Boom! And that's what happened to him. Needless to say, it didn't work out. I kind of lost track of him, but and I knew her, and she was a great gal. I almost fell for her myself, when I was around her, because she's beautiful and smiling and happy, and you think, God, what a great girl this is. But she had her own issues that she had to deal with too. And even at that time, I said, you know what? As beautiful as she is, and as wonderful as this could be, too much trouble here. That the 10% happiness is going to lead to the 90% unhappiness. Okay, is this ringing anybody's bell? Is this? Can you guys relate to this in your past relationships too? Because this is the way it works, and you get into it. Another friend of mine, I mean, it's all around. You meet someone, they're beautiful, and you dive into this thing, and they're so nice in the beginning. I'm sure you gals have the same thing with men. That the man's so attentive, and he's such a great guy, and you have this mad, passionate, thing that you get involved in. Well, let's go back to the law of duality. If something can go up real high, what can it also do? Go down real low. And that's what happened to him. That as happy as he was, with this girl, making all that magic, was as low and as depressed as he got when it ended. And why did it end? That's another good question that we're going to talk about. So give me a little feedback here. Is this ringing anybody's bell? Does anybody have any questions on anything I've mentioned here in the class so far? Put my professor glasses on. Hey, you guys, please shout out in the chat if you got any questions or feedback on what's going on. Hey, Michael's got a question. Maybe you can elaborate how to increase your sexual powers to use it for your powers, not only physical attraction. I can, Michael. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to make you energetically aware. I'm trying to have you see that relationships are not just a mental thing. They're completely energetic. Your happiness is completely energetic. this whole thing. And if you're not energetically aware, then you're riding on the 10%. And I know there's people out there going, well, Glenn, I met so-and-so and we've been happy for a couple of years. Hey, great. I'm happy that's working out. And, for some people, there's some people that can meet their soulmate and be happy forever after. Those people exist and they're around. I call it the Las Vegas rule. Okay. What's the Las Vegas rule? The Las Vegas rule goes like this. If everybody who went to Las Vegas lost their money, no one would ever go to Las Vegas, right? So the guys in Las Vegas say, we got to give somebody a jackpot. We got to give somebody a little bit of reward. So we'll give, maybe 0.5% of the people who come here. Note that statistic. 0.5% of the people who come here, we'll give them the jackpots. So they'll go back and they'll tell everybody that they know, hey, I want a jackpot in Vegas. Hey, I want a car in Vegas. So that 1,000 people go, well, if he can win a car in Vegas, I can win a car in Vegas too. And they come to Vegas, and what happens? Vegas takes all their money. So in the relationship sweepstakes, yeah, it can happen. There are people who get together and just are happily ever after, but it's the exception, not the norm. Most of the relationships that you're in, if you're going to stay together, it's hard work. And nobody who's in a long-term relationship will say any different. Anybody who's in one, who's on the chat, go ahead and chime in. That couples that I know that are married, that are long-term married, who say we love each other and we're compatible, but it's hard work and it's not easy. And we get, we reached times in our relationship where we wanted to end it, where we wanted to quit, and somehow we kept going. Great. That's a high vibrational energy. Most people, they find stuff and there's a point where that's it. It's like the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak. So before we get into that, let's get into the term of energies, okay, just so we can recognize this. Understand that inside of you, there is an operating system. It's an energetic operating system. And in this law of duality, in this third dimensional realm, there's hundreds of energies, there's hundreds of frequencies influencing you. But they're under two headings. They're law of duality, right? A high vibration energy, our high vibration frequency, which is the energies that we like, the energies of light, of happiness, of joy, of peace, of abundance, of love, of compassion, of long-term happiness, of total fulfillment. And there's the other energies, the low vibration energies, or the low frequency energies, the energies of darkness, the energies of destruction, the energies of anxiety, stress, worry, doubt, fear, unhappiness, lack, limitations, all the stuff that we don't want. And these are active forces inside us that are constantly trying to influence us. The high vibration energy wants to inspire us. It wants us to grow, to learn, to expand, to be more, to have more, to live a joyful life, to keep climbing higher, and to reach our full potential. The low vibration energy wants to block that. Its job is to block that, is to block you from going higher and to block you from being happy and to try to pull you into this place of worry, fear, doubt, anxiety, lack, limitation. That's its job. So again, as I open the broadcast, we're talking about the law of polarities, okay? The law of dualities. And in this physical world, we have to deal with those energies every day. Now, how this fits into relationships is this. This low vibration energy contacts us every day. It approaches us every day. It's a frequency. How does it do that? Well, it approaches us in our thoughts, in our emotions, in our beliefs about the way things are, the way we look at the world, and ultimately our behaviors. So we have the high vibration energy, and when you're in high vibration energy, you don't have to think about it too much, right? I mean, if it's a beautiful day, you know, the sun's shining and you're feeling good, you're not going, why is it a beautiful day? Why am I feeling good now? What's up with that? I don't understand, right? You don't think about it. That's the way it is. You know, this flower, it's beautiful. Can you smell it? Beautiful. Why does this smell so good? Why is it so beautiful? You don't think about it. You just behold it, right? You're just experiencing it. It's the stuff that we don't like. That's when we start going, what? When you're unhappy, when you're sad, or if you had a breakup, or things aren't working out, you're going, oh, why is this happening to me? What's going on? Now you're thinking, right? Now you're in this place of lack, of suffering. That's the characteristics of the low vibration energy. And all human beings, unless you become energy awakened, fluctuate between happiness, sadness, good times, bad times, going up, going down, things working out, things not working out, etc. In energy awareness training, when you become energetically aware and trained, you can keep this to this. In other words, you can overcome that low vibration energy and control it. Not easy, but you can. But when you do, it means that you have long-term happiness. And isn't that what we all want? Long-term fulfillment, long-term abundance, long-term blessings. Yeah, there may be a couple of bumps in the road, but because you've learned how to control and awaken your energy and connect to the high vibration energy, the good stuff, and you've learned how to disconnect the bad stuff, life becomes amazing and ultimately happy. That's what I call energetic freedom, energetic or emotional freedom. The ability to stay in high vibrational energy no matter what takes place. Now think about that for a minute. To be able to stay happy, joyful, resourceful, or at least response able, the ability to respond to whatever happens from a place of high vibrational energy. That, my friends, is worth its weight in gold. And that's the one thing that the message I want to get out to the world. If you're going to pursue one thing in this world, if you're going to pursue one thing, you know, people are pursuing money, or they're pursuing love, or they're pursuing world records, or they're pursuing sports. If you're going to pursue one thing, how about you pursue energetic freedom, energetic awareness, the ability to become energetically aware so that you can deal with the bumps in the road. Because what ultimately takes people down is when their life goes into upside down, when something happens. And things always happen. That's the nature of this life. Everything's going great. Oh, and then we have the recession. Bumped me out. You know, we had a recession about 13, 14 years ago, less than that maybe. Threw everybody upside down. People lost fortunes. You know, everybody knows how to deal with life until their life goes upside down. Okay, then it's every man for himself, right? Then it's like, well, when you're energetically aware, you're trained to deal with whatever happens to you. And so that you can deal with it from a place of strength, of control, and a place of being able to, no matter what happens, you're going to be okay because you have the energetic resources to deal with it. As opposed to other people, you know, during that recession, a lot of people lost their money. People lost their 401k plans. People, you know, there were investment houses, companies went out of business. People jumped off buildings. People committed suicide because they lost their money. What? Yeah. And you think, wow, that's extreme. Yeah, for some people, that's what it meant to them. Other people, when they go through a divorce, you know, a traumatic divorce, some people are never the same. I had or when you lose a spouse. I mean, these are all the things that happen in life. You know, there's a death in a family, or somebody that you love passes away. Wow. They never taught us in school how to deal with that. You better learn how to deal with that energetically. You know, it's like learning how to swim. It's better to learn how to swim, to know how to swim before you fall overboard, right? Because once you hit the water, that's not the time to learn how to swim. So energetic awareness training is to be able to recognize all of life as an energetic form that has a power, a purpose, a direction, a frequency, and gives off information. And you want to be able to be energetically ready to deal with the challenges of life, because it's the challenges of life that take somebody out. And the difference between my work and anybody else who claims to be an energy healer or to be teaching transformation mastery or enlightenment or awakening or whatever you want to call it, the difference is that they don't recognize the hidden energies, and I do. And I'm here to tell you, you got a hidden energy inside you. And it comes off as this voice in your head or these thoughts that are constantly trying to destabilize you. Nobody ever taught me that. I had to figure it out for myself and see if it makes sense for you. Don't believe me. Look inside your own life and say, do you have thoughts in your head that are always criticizing, always judging, always trying to spin the worst thing that could happen, always, putting you down, or always saying things don't work? Let me hear on the chat. Anybody not have that? We all have that as human beings. That's why we have to work. That's why there's things like positive thinking and motivation and inspirational leaders, because the human condition, all of us are issued this is what I call low vibration energy voice or low vibration energy mind. Call it the LVE mind, the ego mind, the reactive mind, the evil urge, whatever it is. It's this chaos factor inside our head that wants to destabilize us, that wants to discourage us. And it shows up whenever you make a goal, whenever you decide to do something that takes time, focus, concentration. You're gonna get a freebie for a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months. You want to lose weight. Great. You want to make a New Year's resolution to lose weight, or you stop smoking, or you want to, do an exercise program, or learn to play the piano. And you start off great, right? There's a force. Remember the talk about the laws of duality? There's a force in you that says, yeah, let's practice the piano every day. Let's go to the gym. And you start doing that, right? That's that force inside of you that says, yeah, you can do more, you can be more, you can have more. That's the high vibration energy I'm talking about. But then here comes the low vibration in the thoughts of, don't want to go to the gym, go tomorrow, practice piano, like that. Or am I really committed to that? It's the forces of doubt. It's the forces of anxiety. It's the forces of stress. It's all of these things that throw a monkey wrench into your positivity, that try to block it. Remember I said the purpose of low vibration energy is to block you from being in high vibration energy. How does it do that? By operating through our thoughts, through our emotions, through our feelings, through our beliefs. Here's an example. High vibration energy. It's a beautiful day outside. It's the weekend. Wow. Isn't this great? Sunshine outside. Wow, fantastic. And then I get a thought that says, yeah, but you got to go to work tomorrow. The companies are rumored there are going to be layoffs tomorrow, layoffs in the company, and your job might be laid off. And if you're laid off, you might get the announcement this week. And if that happens, what are you going to do? You don't know if you can find another job, and you'll be homeless, and you won't be able to pay the rent, and you hear that, and all of a sudden I go from happy to thought starting to take me down. Yeah, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if, oh, geez, boom, boom, like that. And that's how it works in your thoughts and in your emotions and your feelings. You know, you meet someone, potential date, or how about not even that far? How about you see somebody that you're attracted to, right? And you go, wow, I'm attracted to this person. They seem cool. I'd like to spend some time with them. And then you go to approach. You take one step, and then the voice you hear it says, "She wouldn't like you. You're not good enough for her." Or what if she does what the last girl did to you? You know, what if she breaks your heart like the other one did? Do you really want to go over there and talk to her? See, you're like, and all of a sudden, this thought process shuts you down. Are you going to go over there with that going through your head? No. So these are light examples of how this whole energy process works. Now, there are ways to neutralize that. And there are ways to take that to neutralize the low vibration energy. But it's a training. It's not something you can just do. It's just not a thought. Oh, just think positive. People say, oh, you got a negative thought or a negative emotion? Just think positive. Okay, you can think positive. That'll last you for what, 30 seconds, a minute, a couple minutes. But it's not the thought, it's the energy behind the thoughts, because thoughts are energies. Emotions are energies. Behaviors are energies. Beliefs are energies. So if you've had your heart broken when it comes to relationships, 4 or 5 times, you're going to create a belief that says relationships equal heartbreak equal suffering. Not for me. So when someone comes along who's a potential candidate, you're going to see through these lenses. You're going to see through the lenses of belief, of my last 5 didn't work out. This one's probably not going to work out either. Okay, forget about it. Right? And there it is. So a lot of people just joining. What we're talking about today is we're talking about energy awareness, my work, and how it relates to attraction, love, attraction, relationships. So we're making the point of talking about who we are as energetic beings. And energetic beings, when I'm talking about energy, I'm talking about our thoughts, our emotions, our feelings, our beliefs, and our behaviors, because that's the program that we move out into the world with that creates our reality. See, I have a saying that says, life doesn't come to us, it comes from us. If you're taking notes, that's the one to write down. Life doesn't come to us, it comes from us. And that explains the big mystery of why things happen. Why did it happen? Why did I meet this? Why did this thing happen? It's simple. Because based upon, you go to the computer software, I can only get the computer to do something that it's programmed to do. And it has a certain energy, it has a certain operating system that it goes by. So I can't put a Windows system in a Mac, and I can't put a Mac system in a Windows. Why? Because there's 2 different operating systems. So what no one ever taught you growing up is that you're an energetic operating system. You have one. We all do. Our energetic operating system, or our personal OS, is based upon our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, our histories, our beliefs, and ultimately that drives behavior. And how we behave and what's in here comes out as behavior as we go out into the world, which creates our reality. So it's not them doing it. It's like, oh, they did it to me. No. Here it is. Good, bad, or ugly, it starts from here. So when people go and all men are bums. Oh, we live in LA. There's no good men here. Really? No good men here. Why? Well, because the last 6 guys I dated turned out to be jerks. Oh, okay. Well, there's about 3 million guys here in Southern California, and you got 6. That means that they're all bad? Now, it's not that they're all bad. It's that looking through these lenses here, you see them from your thoughts, your emotions, your perceptions about how things work. So you're right in the sense that for you, all men are jerks, or because that's your experience and that's your operating software. That's the energetic operating system that you have that programs these guys to be jerks. So you're right in that sense, but there's a bigger picture, which is why not change the operating system? So if you have results in your life, if you have issues, and every human being has issues on this planet. You don't come here, we get issued, when we come down here, everybody gets issued an issue of something that they have to work on, something that is a continuing problem or challenge, whether it's your health, whether it's your career or your money, whether it's your relationship, whether it's your self-esteem or your identity, whatever the challenge that you're going through, that you've tried to overcome again, and again, that you haven't been able to. That's the issue that you were issued with here. And I believe from all the research and my experience, from the neuroscientists I studied with, the spiritual masters, the energetic healers, the holy men, who the philosophers, all of this stuff, is that they all agree that we come here temporarily, visit, and we leave. Okay, we pretty much can agree on that. Everybody might call it a different name, and we all come here to grow, to learn, to evolve, to heal, to recover from what we've been through, and to move into a higher level of awakening and consciousness, which I call the higher dimensionals, which we cover in higher levels of energy awareness training. So, but for the purposes of this class and this teaching, we're talking about how relationships work and why love, romance has a tendency to fade unless it transcends physicality. Remember, we talked about in the physical worlds and the third dimensional worlds, the operating world we live in, there's an energy of physicality that has a beginning, middle, and an end. All of us, in everything in this physical world, has a beginning, middle, and an ending to it. And yet in the energetic worlds, in the higher consciousness, that energy just continues on. It's, some people call it the soul, some people call it the expanding universe, or whatever it is, but that's the energy that we're talking about here. So we have the duality. I started this call, by the way, if you just came on, and we're pretty much wrapping it up here. If you didn't get a chance to, it's going to be repeated on my personal page on Facebook. We've gone through the whole dynamics, energetic wise, of how the hidden energies work and how it influences us, influences our behavior, and how we make unconscious choices in our relationships or in a lot of things that we're dealing with that come from a place of not knowing. So in proceeding with our relationships, if your programming was good with regards to the opposite sex, I see a couple of people on here. I know they had great mothers. And as a result, one particular friend of mine on here has been happily married for a long time. He's a clear example of what I'm talking about. I happen to know his mother, and she's wonderful. She's the most sweet, one of the sweetest ladies I know. And she raised him, and as a result, he met a great gal. He's been happily married, got some great children. Shout out to you. But there's also the flip side of that, which is the rest of us occurred, that most of our mothers were human and they were going through something. And most human beings are carrying a lot of pain and a lot of stress that they got from their mothers, that they got from their mothers. And they put a lot of that unconsciously on us. And as we will do if we don't become energetically aware, that we'll do with our children. So energy awareness is so important to be able to clean that slate. People say, people talk about clear your issues or your baggage. You've heard that one? We all have baggage that we come into this world with. I hear the matchmaker say, yeah, he's great. He's great on paper, but he's got a lot of baggage. Or she's a knockout, but she's got a lot of baggage. What does that mean? That means a lot of unhandled low vibration energy, emotions, feelings, memories, traumas that you know that are going to bring them in to the next relationship. So you go, hey, thanks, but no thanks. Okay. Now, last important thing I want to mention on this is the mind. Is this thing that I talked about called the programming inside of our heads, the low vibration energy voice that we all have. I call it the ego, the destructor mind, that negative voice inside us, or thought pattern that just judges and criticizes everything. Like this, I don't like that, this, I don't like this. That's an active factor that we all have inside us. And when you become energetically aware, you have to recognize that that's operating in your head and that it's not you. I repeat, that voice, that destructive voice, that negative voice thought pattern is not you. It's low vibration energy. And all of us at our true core, at who we really are, we came into this world in high vibrational energy. And we'll go back to the high vibrational energy. So when we're dealing with negativity or we're dealing with sadness, sorrow, suffering, that's not who we are, but it's something that it's a necessary component, in this planet. And that's what that voice is always trying to spin, the negative, the worst thing, the what if this happens, the judgmental stuff. And here's how relationships get sabotaged. By the way, is this making any sense to you? Please give me a shout out on the chat. If you agree, if you disagree, if you just want to say hi, love to hear from everybody. Just write me a little bit note, makes me feel good, encourages me to keep teaching. Appreciate that. Okay, so we've all got that. So see if this has ever happened to you. You're in a relationship, and this voice that you think is you says, yeah, I got a good relationship, but I don't know, maybe I could do better, right? Or, or you see somebody else that tries to go, man, maybe I should be with them. Or maybe I'd be more happy with them. See, the whole point, the whole job of this low vibration energy voice in your head is try to disrupt your happiness. Now, I went along for a lot of years listening to this voice, and this voice would say, Glenn, you're not going to be successful, or you can't have that girl, or, this thing isn't going to work out for you. It was like this pest in my head, always trying to spin the negative. And I'm like, wow, where does that come from? And I recognized that that's not my thought. That's not who I am. Those aren't the thoughts that I would choose to have. Whose are they? This low vibration energy. It's a foreign energy. And again, this is what it means to be energetically aware. There's energies that try to influence us every day. They try to influence our thoughts. They try to influence our emotions. They try to influence our behaviors. And for most of us, or for a lot of us, we're able to manage it. But the people who aren't able to manage, these thoughts, these are the people you read about in the papers. These people who commit to crimes or people who get upset. It's getting to the point where you're reading in the paper every day that somebody, I hesitate to mention it, they commit suicide and take their whole family with them. It was in the paper last week. I read about it in the week before. Why does somebody do that? Why does somebody take something that they love and it's so precious to them and destroy themselves and them? Is that who they really are? We know that's not. You think, well, what got into them? How could somebody do something like that? I'm explaining it to you how. Because we're all having to manage these energies inside us. They're high vibration energies that want to lift us up. They're low vibration energies that want to take us down. How far down? Want to take us down all the way to do something like that. So the purpose of my work is to educate and to train people about that process, because I went through it. I went through some dark days and I went through years of having this voice inside me beat me up. Did it ever happen to you? You got this voice that just, whatever you do, that's not good enough. They won't like you. You're probably going to get fired. You know, there's a recession coming, God forbid. You know, it's like, you know, there's a great song by Steely Dan called "What Do I Do About the Weather in My Head?" You know, they say the lyrics are something like, it's forecast a sunny day outside today, but what about the weather in my head? It's cloudy and stormy in my head. Why? It's the energies that are trying to control you. They try to control every human being. And when you're aware of that, you can do something about it. If you're not aware of it, God help you, because you'll have to go through the torment, and which is basically the human condition, you know, getting through this problem and this emergency and this drama and having to deal with this like this. It doesn't have to be that way. There's the beauty and the power of my work is the ability to become energetically aware and to understand how things work. Because this life is filled with booby traps. If you haven't figured it out, I'm sure I've stepped in a lot of them. I'm sure you have too. Why? Because you weren't aware of the decision that you made to step in that booby trap. Booby traps known as bad relationships or bad jobs or working with bad people. Not bad, just low vibration energy people. So becoming energetically aware means when I'm connected to the high vibration energy, I'm going to have more of that. Isn't that what we want? We want more high. We want more. What's high vibration? More love, more happiness, more abundance, more joy. We all want that. What do we don't? We don't want the low vibration energy, the anxiety, the stress, the worry, dealing with that. But ironically, you know, it's like getting in shape. What do you have to do to be out of shape? That's a low vibration energy. What do you have to do to be out of shape? Nothing. You don't have to do anything. You just eat, hang out, lie on the couch all day or whenever, and it'll come. So the conditions that we don't want come to us. Take no effort. The conditions that we do want take effort, take consciousness, take training to be able to do that, to be in shape. Oh, all I have to do is work out once and I'm in shape? No. Oh, all I have to do is eat right once and then I'm healthy? No. The way it works is you do it every day. You're conscious every day. And that's what energy awareness training is. Just like working out every day, you want to know how to clean and clear your energy. And ultimately, you can clean your and dissolve today's low vibration energy, stress energy. You can clean the regularly occurring stuff that takes place. And in the advanced levels of energy awareness training, you learn how to clean your history that we all came into it, the blueprint, your operating blueprint, energetic operating system. I bet you guys didn't know that. Each of you here have an energetic operating system. And it's programmed and it's tuned to certain frequencies. Some frequencies you like, some frequencies you don't like. How do you know which one's which? Well, you learn and you study, you become energetically aware. So I hope this is ringing somebody's bell here, because when it comes to attraction, if it's based on physicality, it's going to fade. Anything that's physical will fade. You know, I have a friend of mine, another friend, I've got a lot of friends here, very high-powered executive, and really sharp guy, very inquisitive, and always trying to figure things out. Real mental guy, you know. And so he married this gal, and they were friends of mine for a long time. We belonged to an organization where we do a lot of social events, go out on boats and vacation places, and we became pretty good friends. In fact, he was a mentor of mine. He got me my first music composing job here in Hollywood. Great guy. I hadn't seen him in a while, but we were really close at one time. So he marries this gal, and they're a couple. And he's about maybe 20 years older than she's like 30 something, and he's 50 something. But you know, he was powerful, and he had money and prestige, and and she was a nice gal and a knockout. She's a knockout. I mean, it's just feast for the eyes. And as we got closer, he would confide in me, he goes, Glenn, I'm miserable. I'm absolutely miserable. I don't know whether I should get a divorce or what I should do. And I'm thinking, you're miserable? Being married to her? I mean, holy smokes. And I said, what do you mean you're not getting along? And he says, it's just, our energies, it doesn't vibe. You know, I can't really talk to her about much I can talk to her about the weather, and I can talk to her about, you know, a few things, but, you know, we don't have deep conversations, and I don't feel emotionally fulfilled with her. I said, well, then why did you marry her? He said, because she's beautiful. Because she's beautiful. Oh, okay. Well, I guess that wasn't enough. And this is what I started the class with out today. We have the 10%, the physicality, the attraction factor, and we have the 90%. And the 90% gauges whether you're going to be happy with someone or not. Now, of course, we all want to be happy with people we're attracted to, but that's not enough. And he wasn't energetically aware to take the time to be able to see, besides the physical factor, are there other qualities and traits that you share that you can build a long-term relationship with? That's what we teach in our relationships course, that if you want to build a long-term relationship, a happy one with someone, don't rush in. The faster you get in, you know, the faster you're going to want to get out. The more you take your time, the more you can set the foundation for long-term fulfillment. But for him, he was in a rush. He wanted her, he saw her, he wanted to possess her, he wanted to, I guess in his circles, you know, she's arm candy. So he says, Glenn, I says, you know, he goes, I'm going to do one last ditch effort to save it. I go, really? What are you going to do? He goes, she wants a baby. So maybe if I give her a baby, she'll have something to do, and then we can be happy. And I said, I don't think that's a good idea. He goes, really? I said, you know, if you're not happy without a baby, why are you gonna bring a baby into it? I mean, because baby, you know, they're bundles of joy, but they're also bundles of stress. You know, again, the law of duality, right? He goes, well, you know, this guy did pretty stubborn guy, never listened to anybody. So I said, I don't think it's a good idea. He goes, well, I'm going to try it. Okay. So he tries it, and they have a baby. And for the first year, you know, they're happy because they got the new baby. It's a new energy. And what happens? It compounded all that was wrong in the relationship. And about 5 years into it, they divorced, and they became bitter enemies. It broke my heart. I was having dinner with him and his new girlfriend, and the ex called, and he goes, I got to take this call. And I knew it was the gal that I knew. So they go outside, and I hear him. This is on the Sunset Strip. I'll never forget this guy screaming his head off, yelling and screaming. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, they were in love 5 years ago, and now he's threatening. She's threatening him, and he's threatening her. So why does that happen? It's all energy, folks. So what you learn in energy awareness training is, if you want to have a long-term, happy, fulfilling relationship, then you set the foundation in a high vibrational energy. And we're in the class here. In my course, I go over all of these things in my energy awareness training courses that I have. Go through all relationships, how it works, why, who, what, and where here. But I kind of gave you a good chunk of that today on at least how they work. So if you're going to build a relationship, and if you really want to rekindle a relationship, you start by creating a foundation of high vibrational energy, so that you have something to build on. And the more you build it, the deeper you lay the foundation in the beginning, is the taller the building will go. The more you don't build a foundation on it, and the higher you build a building, the faster, when the wind, you know, it looks good in the good weather, but when the wind blows and the rains come, the thing collapses. So that's the metaphor for this. Okay. All right. I'm going to look here and see if there's any questions before we adjourn here. Hey, Dave, what do you have to do to be out of shape? Nothing. That's right. Nothing. Ivor, Steely Dan. Steely Dan. I don't know what you mean by that, but they're one of my favorite bands. Dave Z, your negative voices. Okay, he's an asshole. Yeah. Okay, Jose, got it. Hey, you guys, great. I appreciate you guys saying hi to me on the chat and any questions. And if you like the broadcast, you like the information, great. Give me your feedback. If you don't, give me your feedback too. It's all welcome here. Hey, Michael says, so after watching, our goal should be to connect to high vibration energy forever to transcend your mind and ego, like you have said. Michael, it's absolutely right. You got to be in the high vibrational energy at all times, because if you're not, you're in the low vibration energy. So you ever heard me say this? High vibration energy, happiness, joy, peace, abundance, kindness, compassion, sharing, love, wholeness, creativity, all of those things create more of the same. Right? You're with wonderful people, you're with loving people, you're with kind people. You feel good. The feeling expands, right? How about low vibration energy? You're with low vibration energy people complaining all the time, people who are downers, people who are suffering in life, and that energy expands too. So low vibration energy creates more low vibration, and high vibration energy creates more high vibrational energy. So this is why you want to be energetically aware. Everything that you're dealing with has an energy frequency to it. Everything. Plants, water, computers, air, human beings, activities. They all got frequencies to it. And those frequencies, if you become energetically aware, you can read them. See, this is, for those of you who are still with me here, this is the big secret. The big secret is that you can foretell the future. You can know what's going to happen. Would that be a valuable tool to know what's going to happen? If you're about to make a decision, would it be valuable to you to know if this relationship's going to work, if this marriage is going to work out, if this investment is right, if this job is the right one to take, if this place is the right place to move to? And you can think, well, Glenn, how do you know that? Or are you psychic? No, but what I'm telling you is, here's the big secret. And it's what I told you all along, that if you learn how to read the energies, then you'll be able to see, this I'm thinking about taking this job. Should I take it? Should I not take it? Are there people, will it be good for me? Will it be a good career move? Will it be a bad career move? Well, that job and that company and those people have a power, a purpose, a frequency, a direction they're headed in, and it's either high vibration or low vibration energy. So if you know the energy going into something, you'll know where it has a tendency to go. Now, here's the thing. It can look like high vibration energy. It can sound like high vibration energy, right? And it can feel like high vibration energy. Doesn't mean it's high vibration. It means it looks that way. But, in my training and in my courses, I teach you how to recognize the real thing from fool's gold, right? The relationships, they all look like high vibration energy when you get into them, don't they? The people are they're nice and they're kind and they're affectionate, and it seemed like the right thing to do, but there were elements that you didn't train yourself to see. Investments. The guy seemed like an honest guy. One of these investment scam guys in New York, he had a 25-year track record. It seemed like he was the real deal. It seemed like he was high vibration energy, except there were signs there that if you knew how to read the energies, would have told you clearly, this is not a high vibration energy deal. Or at the very least, it would have said, watch out. And if you look at any relationships that you were in that were disasters, looking back on them, you can go, oh, there were signs there that were clear, that I should have read. There were clear signs that said this thing was going to be a train wreck. This person was going to be a train wreck. And I didn't see them. Why didn't you see them? Why didn't you see them? You weren't energetically aware. You weren't trained to see them. You went along with what you wanted to go along with. You went along with that, with your programming. It all comes back to your energetic programming of what you have a tendency to go to. It's our default mechanism. And unfortunately, for most people, our default mechanism is surrounded with low vibration energy. That's why it's our default mechanism. So I want to, if nothing else for today's class, I hope this kind of just kind of shook you up a little bit and had you go, maybe there is something to this energy thing. Maybe energy awareness is something I should check into. And I'm here to tell you, if you do one thing this year to improve your life, learn energy awareness training, because it affects everything you're doing. Whatever you're going to do when I sign off here, energy is going to affect it. We're having an energetic exchange right now. So you can learn this in a variety of ways. You can contact me here. I'm on Facebook. You can messenger me with any questions about this. I have a video program that people can use. We do group classes from time to time. I have a YouTube channel with lots of videos. This will probably be posted on there too. So whatever you need to do, learn it. Become energetically aware. And if you want to learn it right, either learn from the videos or have me or one of my teachers teach you how this works. It'll save you a lot. It'll save you so much and aggravation. I wish I'd had this 20 years ago. If I did 25, I would have saved myself a lot of pain. But hey, that's par for the course. I'm glad it happened because I'm able to take what I went through and help other people with it. So just checking on the questions here. Are we good? Last one, quoted. Okay, Ivor, which Steely Dan did I quote? Which song? And for all you guys who just joined up, you can view the whole class in its entirety on my Facebook page, probably be available in about 15, 20 minutes from beginning to end. Lots of great information here on how to keep the love alive. And more importantly, how to keep the love and attraction from going south. Okay. Hope you've had a great time. I've enjoyed teaching you. Stay in touch with me. Remember, nothing changes until energy moves. So become energetically aware and move some high vibration energy today. This is Glenn Ackerman wishing you a great day and a great week. We'll be back next week with a new energy awareness training class. Lots of love. Bye for now.